The First Kings. The Reign of Keyumars. So, what do the old Persian poets say about the first guy who ever wanted to rule the world? Well, nobody really knows for sure what happened back then, unless they've heard the stories passed down from generation to generation. And according to those stories, the first king to ever wear the crown and set up all the traditions of royalty was Keyumars. When he became the ruler of the world, he started off living in the mountains, where he set up his throne. Back then, he and his people wore leopard skins instead of regular clothes. He was the first one to teach people how to prepare food and make clothing, which were totally new concepts at the time. Sitting on his throne, shining like the sun, he ruled for 30 years. He stood tall, like a cypress tree under the full moon, and he had this special royal glow about him. Even the animals, both wild and tame, respected him, bowing before his throne. Their loyalty only made him even more powerful and lucky. Keyumars had a son, handsome, smart, and super ambitious, just like his dad. His name was Shahnameh, and Keyumars loved him more than anything. Just seeing his son made him happy, but at the same time, the thought of losing him broke his heart. Shahnameh grew into a strong young man, and honestly, he had no enemies, except for Ahriman. This guy, Ahriman, was insanely jealous of Shahnameh's greatness and was secretly plotting against him. Ahriman had a son, a savage, wolf-like beast, who gathered an army, stirred up chaos, and got ready to challenge the king. Keyumars had no clue about all this scheming, until the angel Sorosh appeared before Shahnameh, disguised in a leopard skin. Sorosh warned him about the dangers his father was facing. Shahnameh was furious. Without wasting any time, he gathered an army. Since armor wasn't a thing back then, he dressed in a leopard skin and prepared for battle. The two armies faced off. Shahnameh, brave as ever, charged straight into the fight. But then, the black demon struck. He sank his claws deep into Shahnameh's body and took him down. When Keyumars heard about his son's death, his whole world shattered. He stepped down from his throne, crying, pulling at his hair, even scratching his own skin in pure grief. His face was covered in blood, his heart heavy with sorrow, and every single day felt unbearable. His army stood before him, their cries of grief filling the air. Everyone wore blue as a sign of mourning. Even the animals, every bird and beast, gathered in the mountains, crying alongside their king. The dust from the crowd of mourners rose high into the sky, hanging over the king's court like a shadow of sadness. They grieved for a whole year. Then, one day, the angel Sorosh returned with a message from God. Keyumars, enough with the tears. Stay strong. Get your army together and take down that wicked demon. Keyumars lifted his tear-streaked face toward the heavens and prayed that evil would destroy those who do evil. Then, without wasting any time, he got ready to avenge his son's death, refusing to sleep at night or eat during the day until justice was served. The great Shahnameh had a son, Shahnameh, who acted as his grandfather's advisor. This splendid youth seemed compounded of intelligence and courtliness. Keyumars lovingly brought him up as his own son, because Shahnameh reminded him of Shahnameh, and he had eyes for no one else. When his heart was set on war and vengeance, he summoned Shahnameh and laid before him his plans and secrets. He said, "I shall gather an army together and raise a cry of lamentation in the demons' ranks. You must command these warriors, since my days are numbered, and you must be the new leader." He gathered together fairies, leopards and lions, savage wolves and fearless tigers, birds and domestic animals, and this army was led by the intrepid young prince. Keyumars was in the rear, his grandson Shahnameh in the van. The black demon came fearlessly forward, and the dust of his forces rose into the heavens, but the king's fury and the wild animals' magnificence rendered the demon's claws harmless. When the two groups met, the demons were defeated by the animals. Like a lion, Shahnameh caught the black demon in his grip, cleaving his body in two and severing his monstrous head. He laid him low in the dust and flayed his wretched body of its skin. When Keyumars had achieved the vengeance he desired, his days came to an end, and the world was deprived of his glory.